Welcome to another training on MySQL Workbench with Jofiel. This is part 10. So far so good in the previous tutorials, which you are of course invited to go and take a look at and practice with. We could already practice so much. That was in 2024, and this new year, for instance, last week we could, we did the roll-up, we did the difference between group by and order by, and we created an event last week. That was awesome and it worked all perfectly. Now let's go back to our own created database, this time to do the difference now between where and having closed, which is also very good to know. And then after that we are going to bank account transaction function. This one is more challenging, but it's really good to know too. Okay, now I think the voice recording is working, but if it's messed up, because I'm going to see that only at the end, I don't want to stop now to check that. If it's messed up, I will just comment my own work. I hope you understand. All right, let's start. This is where we stopped last time with drop the event just in case you don't want it no more. Let me always scroll back up so that you can see the amount of work we already have performed together. And today is part 10 of our files. So this is what I'm going to comment right here. Tuto number 10. I'm going to get this one uppercase / okay. So we're having close comment. This is how we start. First, we want to go and take a look at these two tables. The easiest one for this one. Let me go back to from customers, and same thing from orders. I'm just gonna copy paste here and get here orders. So let's go and refresh to see our tables are here. This is the table customers and the table orders. Okay, for our examples right now, I'm going to use first the table customers. So let me go back here. And now we can start. We're going to start right here. Select. We're going to take customers. Let me go here and open the properties so I can see all the columns here. So let me see. Select. We're going to take the customer first name. We're going to get the customer age from customers. And then here we get the where. Let's get the customer ID equal 4, for instance. Of course, no typo here. The first name, the customer age from customers, where customer ID equal 4. Let's see, this is the where clause. And this is what we got. We got a Katumfe, customer age 42. This is the customer ID number 4. This is how you do the where clause. And now we're going to do the having clause. Example with the other table. Select, let's say order CC. I know that we have a column called order CC in the table order. And then let's count that. Gonna count, and here we're gonna get from orders, and here group by. Here we want order CC, our having order CC equal, for instance, Let's put the Swiss currency right. Let's see if we have that, how many of them we have. And we have one, four having this currency in the table orders. We can go and verify that if it's telling the truth. And that's true. We have one here. Let me see. We have four of them. One, two, three, and the other one on the top. Okay, it's true. We can run that again and it's not going to give us an error. That's true. Okay, and for the first one, it's also true. Okay. All right, so this is the difference between where and having clothes. Now let's start something more challenging. Let's just call this one bank account transaction function, I mean, because this is what it is. That's a good example to know. That's just an example. You can adapt it as you wish. Okay, first of all, we are going to create a new table, and that's also a good refresh for those who are, starting right now. This is how you create a simple table. Account, we have many already, but we're going to create another one for this one, for this example. Account ID, we're going to get an int here and primary key. Then we want one called balance. Okay, we have account ID and now we want balance, and we're gonna get just int here, and that's it. So we are creating a very simple one, and we have green, so we refresh our schema here and we have a new table called accounts. Okay, let's take a look at it first because we're going to work with this one. Select all from I call it accounts, right? Of course, the semicolon, we take a look at it, and right now, as you can see, it's empty, but we have our account ID and our balance. Okay, now we need another table. Now let's create another table, and because we need two tables, of course, to work with. Minimum, create table transaction. This one we have done so many times before, so I don't have to comment that. This is how you create a simple table again. Transaction, and we want a transaction ID, of course. We want to get it int, and again primary key, and we want a sender. Somebody's going to send the money, and account sender account ID would be better, and then we want int, and we're gonna get a receiver, somebody who's gonna receive the money. I make it easy really for those who wanna understand what IT is all about, what database is all about. Receiver, I'm gonna get here R account ID, and this one we want int2, comma, and we want a column called amount. We're going to get it in decimal. Let's get a 10,2 here inside, and we close, of course, the parentheses, comma, and here we want a transaction date. How about that? Transaction date, and we want here timestamp. You know what it is, we've done that before with our time travel table. Timestamp here, and we want a default. We need a default in order to do all that, and we want to get the current time stamp, right? And then we gotta close, of course, the parenthesis and the semicolon. Okay, now it looks good, and this is our table. Let me see, create table transaction ID, yes. No typo, sender account, receiver account ID, int, amount, okay. The date, okay, so we can create it, looks good. And we got a new table. We refresh our schema, and we shall see our table here. Transaction is right here. Okay, we have it here. So we're going to take a look at it too. Let me just copy paste right here, Control C, and then I get down here so that we can change right here in the front. So, and we call our table. It's yes, okay. And we have our table right here. Of course, it's empty right now, but we have our column created. Okay, now we can start to work. So first of all, we want to insert something into the table accounts. Okay, let me do that. Insert. All right, so this is what we insert in the table account. We want 1,000 francs on one account, on the account number 1, and then we put 500 in the second account. Okay, let's call this one. That's right, and the second one, it's also green, so we refresh. And now we want to see now what we have put inside. Okay, this is what we wanted. Account ID number 1 has 1,000 and the second one has 500. That's just example. You can put whatever you want inside amount. Okay, now then we want to start a transaction, right? So all we have to do here is to write start transaction and semicolon, and it's going to start the transaction. We have to call it, of course. So we execute that and the transaction is started. After we started the transaction, we have to update. So we want to update the accounts. I said this one is more challenging, and this is the pattern. It works, but you have to be really focused. I don't know how, but you have to be focused. Balance minus 100. We want to put something. We want to make a transaction. So minus 100, and then where account ID equal 1. Okay, so we want to remove 100 from this account, the number 1. So we have to call this one first. Let me see if I have no typo. Update account set balance equal balance minus. Okay, it looks good. Where this we are using this where clause we saw before. So let's execute that one. And that's good. We always refresh. And then we want to do the same thing. Control C. Then I copy paste. And all I have to change here we want a plus, because we remove there to get it here. Plus 100, and here where the account ID is 2. This is what we want to do. So we are going to execute that. Tack. And it's working. You see, as long as it's green, it means you're good. Okay, so now we wanna move on. After that, we just want to take a look at our tables first. So we here select to see what we have done so far from accounts. And I'm going to take the same line, Control C. Okay, and here I just change here transaction. Okay, we good. Let me call this one so we can see what we have done. Okay, now you see that it's not 1,000 here no more, it's 900, and here it's not 500 no more, it's 600. Okay, so far I know that it makes sense to you. To insert story short, and this is what we want to insert into the transaction table. We just want to insert what we just did, except that we of course had to add the transaction idea here, which is going to be 1011. Hopefully it's going to work. And then what we just did, with that we transferred from the sender account to the receiver account 100. This is what we did. And then we first of all we execute it, and we take a look at our table. First of all, we have to commit. After you have done all this, the idea is to commit so that it's transparent, everything is known. So commit to make the transaction official. We execute, and we have performed our whole work. Now we want to take a look at our table so you can see everything we have done so far, how good it looks. The transaction happened the way we want it. So we go and take a look at our table transaction first, and now we can see that the transaction happened with the exact date, the timestamp date as we wanted, the amount 100, and the receiver account and the sender account and the transaction ID. So it worked pretty well. Let's take a look at all the tables. This one too. We created two and we worked with both of them. So we call again our table account, and you can see you had that before. This is what we did. We transferred money from one account to another, and we have everything explained here in the transaction. Okay, the thing is that you are not going to see the transaction appearing somewhere here in the left pane. Because here we have the views, our stored procedures, our function, but the transaction is not going to appear here. But that it's important to refresh all the time so that you can see the change happening in your tables of what the new data you are inserting in. I think it's enough for today. I hope you enjoyed this class like all other classes. And let me just scroll up so that we can see you can copy just in case you need. And this is what we did, and we started with the difference between where and having closer. That was important for our transactions also. These are our two examples, and then we started by creating the table accounts and then the table transaction, and where we could use this where close to, and it worked pretty well. We could transfer the money from one account to another. The 1,000 and the 500 became 900 and 600, and we could start the transaction right here. This is the pattern, and then commit. You have to do all these steps to get your transaction happen. Okay, and of course after that you make sure you always go and save your work. This one I'm going to call it number 10, keeping it fresh for our next time. So I hope you liked it. The rest is coming next if God's willing. Thank you for watching. God bless. Bye bye.